did a video on making these pajama pants and the robe set, oh, I don't know, a few months ago. Well, the other night I got a question from one of my viewers. She got mixed up on the robe when it came to the collar area, you know, where you would do the attach the collar to the robe itself. And I got a little mixed up doing the video myself. And so I thought I would just go ahead and just redo the whole video on making the robe only. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set up this camera where I can show you the pieces that you need, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so you're going to need pieces 7 through 13. So number 7 is going to be the robe front. You need to cut 2 pieces of that, and your markings you need to mark here because you're on both pieces because you're going to be putting pockets on. And that's basically all the mark. And then you have notches that you need to cut out, and that's basically all that you need for markings. You see these little dots here and here and here. You really don't have to worry too much about those because this and this is going to be for your facing. Then this right here is going to be for your sleeve. And then this up here is going to be for your neckline. So if you're not too sure, you can go ahead and do your markings on here, 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 and here. Okay, now we have piece number 8. Piece number 8 is going to be the robe back. You only have to cut 1 on the fold. And again, you have your notches, and then you have your markings here. And I think that's the only, and then 1 up here, then 1 up there. Then number 9 is going to be your pocket. You need to cut out 2 for your pocket. Number 10 is going to be your under collar. That's where my viewer was having a mix-up on, is the under collar. Number 11 is your facing for your front, and you need to cut 2 of those out. And on this, you have your notches. I don't see any of the dots on here anywhere, so I don't think we have any. Number 12 are your sleeves. You need to cut out 2 for your sleeves. And you have your notches, and you also have your little dot markings. 1 here, and I think there's 1 over here. Yeah, and looks like I need to trim up right there. And that's it for that piece. Then this is your belt. And you cut 1 on the fold. Whoops, sorry about that. I almost fell down. My chair's behind me. And I don't see any markings or notches on that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this camera set up and put it in front of the machine. Okay, I'll be right back. The first step you do is you have to iron your pocket pieces in half. So I already went ahead and did that. The next step you're going to, and iron your pocket pieces right sides together. The next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and stitch from the fold all the way down until you get to about right here, then backspace, and then cut your thread, and then skip probably about 1 inch or 1.5 inches, go over a little bit, back stitch, go to the corner, and go back up to the fold. So that's what I'm going to get ready to do. Alrighty. And try to keep my hand out of your way. And make sure my needle is set correctly. Okay, now it's in the center. Let me pull my thread. Here we go. Get this. Do I have gray thread on? Yeah, I do. Oh well. when I get to the next step, then I can go ahead and change it to the white. Okay. Just put it in just a little bit here. All right. And just do like a 1/4 inch. All right, so here we go. If you're wondering why I had to reach back so far, I am behind the camera, so I can show you as much as possible on this robe. Being as I'm getting ready to move, I have the machine that I was doing the first robes on already in its cabinet and ready to be moved. So that's why I'm on this machine. I wished if I was, yeah, if I was on the other machine, then I wouldn't have to be behind the camera, but anyhow. Okay, I'm at the fold, and I back stitched, locked in the stitches. Okay, so that's what it's supposed to look like when you're through. Let me go ahead and cut my threads. Sorry, it took me a couple of days to get this video done, but I haven't been feeling that well. Today I've had a migraine all day and my back's been bothering me. So, okay, so anyhow, where's my scissors? Here we go. Now, the next thing you want to do is, what you don't have to, I normally do, but cut the corners. Here, let me turn the camera so I can, let's see, maybe we can see better this way. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this corner here. I'm going to cut this corner here, like this away, and then I'm going to trim around a little bit, and then I'm going to leave an opening, a tab right here where the opening is. That way it'll be easier to fold it back in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, now that's what it's supposed to look like. All right, now I'm going to fold it right side out. All right, and then you want to get, I have this this cuticle stick that I use because it's a blunt point, and then I'm going to push my corners out with it. Okay, and that's what it's supposed to look like when you pull your corners out. I'm going to go ahead and get this tab inside of the pocket. Excuse me, and I'm going to go ahead and iron it so that way it's already in there, and then it's ready to be sewed. Okay, there you go. There's the pocket. I'm going to go ahead and do the second pocket, and when I get that done, I'll be back. You want to get piece number 7 with just the 2 front pieces. And you're supposed to have made your markings. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get you turned around. Maybe up against here. All right, right there you can see the markings for your pockets. So there's one marking there. Then I've got my other marking right here. Where is it? Right there it is. For the pocket. So you want to pin your pockets to each piece. I did it. All right, so that's what it's supposed to look like, just like that. All right, so now what you're going to do, hold on a minute, I made a mistake. Because I wanted to, where the opening is for the pocket, I wanted to have that down on the bottom because you're going to have to stitch it closed. So I wanted to have that on the bottom. So let me redo this. So you want your opening on the bottom and then have it pinned all the way around. You're going to stitch from here all the way down, across, and back up. Leave this open so that way your dog can get her hand in her pocket. I know I like to have pockets on my robes. Okay, so we're not gonna do a 1/4 inch like we did. Oh, you need to be turned around, don't you? Okay, we're not going to do a 1/4 inch like we did sewing the pocket together. So we're going to go over and we're just going to do like a top stitch. So you want to get as close to the edge of the pocket as you can. And that will work right there. Okay. And don't forget to back up to lock your stitch in. And I normally don't sew over my pins, but because I had to really work to get the pocket on because I think I made the lines too long. Oh, let me fix down here a little bit. It looks like it's bent out of shape. Let me fix that right there. That looks a little better. Okay. All right, I just got through closing up the opening of the pocket. Normally I would tell you do not sew over your pins, but I'm only doing it this time because I needed to make sure everything was lined up. All right, I think you're able to see that pretty well. And I don't know why my thread doesn't want to cut like it's supposed to. I guess I need to take this machine in and get it cleaned or something. All right. But here you go. So when I iron, I'm hoping that's going to come out. I'm going to go ahead and do an overlock stitch. And this is your overlock foot right here. And it looks like that. And what you want to do is you want to get this edge of the foot up against the edge of your fabric right here. And I went ahead and I cut it off a little bit. Then that way it can get into these stitches right here. So I cut it maybe down to 1/8 of an inch after I sewed the shoulder seams together. Okay, and then you want to put it on a zigzag. A zigzag stitch is what you want. And let's go ahead and get this started. Try to keep my fingers out of your way so you can see. It's going to do a lock stitch to lock it in, and then it's going to go back and forth just like a regular zigzag. And lift up my foot and straighten it up a little bit. Sometimes you have to straighten it up as you go. And I'm doing this at an awkward angle, so it's hard for me to see. But you want to make sure you get your fabric right up against the edge of the right side of the foot, just like I did. And then, all right, and then after you're done, raise up your presser foot and pull it back like this. You don't ever want to pull it out to the side or anything. You want to pull it out to the back, because right in here, I'm going to take the foot off and I'll show you. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so let me get my purple thing. I bought a bunch of these at one time. Okay, so your fabric, when you're going to do the zigzag stitch, it's going to go back and forth like that. So you want to make sure that your needle is not going to hit this part right here. You want to make sure that your needle clears this part right here. So it goes here and here. And what I was saying is you want your edge of your fabric, after you cut it down to 1/8 of an inch, you want your fabric to go like all along this edge right here. Okay? And then on the back side, this is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like on the back side. This is where the zigzag stitches go in as your needle goes up and down. And then this is the edge where your fabric, the edge of your fabric is going through. And then you see right here, there's a little, well, I call it a little, not a groove, but a bent part of the foot. And then this is also guiding the fabric to go back with your feed dogs. And you always want to make sure you have your feed dogs up, just like your regular sewing. And that's really that. There is all to this. Now for my machine, this came with my machine and my baby lock. And it has a letter on there, and it says letter G. And if you're using a baby lock, I'm not sure about a brother machine. My brother machine in the shop, I haven't really looked at my overlock foot, so I don't know what letter it is. But anyhow, on my baby lock, it is a G letter. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this back on. And I'm going to show you again on the other shoulder. And when you put your foot on, you want to make sure you get your thread right up in there, which you want to slide it through this groove where your fabric is, the edge of your fabric is, and slide it up here. Then you want to get it to the other side of that piece that I told you need to clear your needle, where your needle's going to go da, 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 da. Well, you want to get it over on the left side. Okay, this is what it's supposed to look like when you're all through. And I forgot to tell you, before you pin this inner collar on, you need to do a stay stitch all around from here all the way around to here, which is the collar part of the gown. Here's the back of the gown. Here's one side of the front. Here's the other side of the front. And then what you want to do after you do your stay stitching is you want to clip around. Okay? Then you want to get your inner collar. You also want to clip around. That would make it so much easier to get this inner collar on. Okay? The next thing we're going to do, and I have already done it, is you want to get your two front facings together. And I'm trying to hold my camera while I'm trying to lay this out. All right, here we go. All right, so let me move the robe itself. There's your facing, okay? Both of your pieces. You want to put them right side together, and you want to stitch along the center part of the facing. This is going to go behind the collar, from what I understand in the instructions, which number 5 is what I just told you to do. You stitch the front facing sections together along center back seam, stitch under 1/4 inch on inner curved edge of front facing. Okay, so just like that right there. And then you see where it says to stitch around the inner inside of the facing. The next step is going to be with right sides together, pin front facing to front and under collar over piping. Over piping. I didn't know it called for piping, but anyhow, if you want to put piping in, that's fine. I'm not going to do that. Matching centers back and notches, then you stitch, and then you clip your curves. Alright, I'm going to be right back because I forgot to stitch my inner part of the facing, which is right here, is the curvy part that goes to the inside. This is your outer curve, this is your inner curve.